at Magic Spotlight Dragons. Oh, man, doing a called in a time draft, it's stressful, Patrick.
And you see Corey here in the RIW shirts. That's one of the landmark LGSs in the United States out of Livonia, Michigan. Corey lives in Colorado now, but is from Michigan originally and is one of numerous great players to come out of the store, including Pro Tour champions Patrick Chapin and Mark Harper-Holz.
Wow, nice. Here we go with pack number 1. Let's take a look at which way Corey Burkhart kind of wants to play this. There's always a question of, do you prioritize fixing early on? These Trilons are really nice, or do you take a huge bomb?
Corey, as a Magic player, I think is pretty. It's rare for him to just say, this is the best color combination, I'm forcing it.
Sure.
That's much more my approach of I'm familiar with this archetype. I think Corey is ultimately just going to be pretty consequentialist, I guess you could say, of just what's the best card in the pack relative to the level of commitment it's asking of me.
So it looks like he's pulled a blue card to the front here. The rare coming out of this pack still is in motion, I want to say. Oh, Winter Night Stories, excuse me. This is a draw spell, so this is nice because you can harmonize with it later in the game.
And this rate is just very, very efficient. Even setting aside the harmonized part, this would be a pretty powerful card to take early in draft. The harmonize is just gravy.
Yeah, it is. Draw 3, discard 2 unless you discard a creature card. All right, so we've put our foot in blue here with pack 1. Pick 1. Let's take a look at what else Corey has opening here in pack number 2.
And this is a nice first pick because the flexibility and power is a nice blend. It's not committing him down any particular road, but it's also an incredibly strong card. And so, again, he can be responsive without sacrificing the raw power in his deck.
All right, he's kind of looking at this dual land, too. I don't think he's going to take it quite this early. We have Avenger of the Fallen also pulled to the front of the pack here, a nice alt art version of that card.
Well, you could consider the Dismal Backwater, I suppose, if you had a preference for Sultai, but I think Avenger of the Fallen is just the strongest card. And again, we're early enough in the draft that Corey isn't going to want to commit himself. Something that comes up in draft is the concept of reading signals. You want to be drafting the other underdrafted colors or color combinations. And so again, light commitments, kind of take strong single color cards, and hopefully if a card shows up that's very strong, no matter what color, you can take it and start drafting around it.
Yeah, I love Avenger of the Fallen there. Death Touch, Mobilize X, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Just very, very strong here. Glacial Dragon Hunt is pulled to the front here of the pack for Corey. A card we saw Luis cast a lot of times on camera yesterday.
Another very strong harmonized spell. Now, the issue here, to the extent there is one, is Corey's 3 picks do not get him into a wedge.
Right.
It is Grixis so far. Corey loves Grixis.
That's it. Those are his colors.
Those are his colors. It's not a Grixis format. So, maybe the Avenger of the Fallen isn't much of a commitment. Maybe Corey's looking at 4 colors, but the draft is still taking a little bit of a shape here.
I would love it if he just drafted Grixis anyway, hard mode. Let's go. Okay, so we've got War Effort, which Corey is thinking about now, which is a card that does go with the Mobilize card that he took earlier. Gives your attacking creatures +1/+0 and also gives you a warrior creature token every combat, which is very, very nice. So it might be that he's kind of thinking, perhaps we can get some Mardu action in here.
I think this is still, Corey just trying to be responsive to the cards that are coming to him. This card's a little off topic with the picks he's made so far, but it is also the strongest, and maybe the draft just goes a certain way where he ends up a lot more aggressive than maybe his early picks sort of suggest here.
All right, let's take a look at what's left here in the pack, because this is when the signals really start to flow. We've got a Jeskai Devotee here at the front, as well as a Flaming Effigy. Flaming Effigy, a very aggressive card, so he's going to go with the Devotee.
A fine card, and again, still flexible here. Could fit in to a Jeskai deck or a Teamer deck or a 4 or 5 color control deck, and no matter what, it's pretty low risk.
All right, is this the point we start taking lands?
Well, we're going to have to compare it to what spells are available here, and it looks like Corey's probably looking to avoid taking a green card at this point.
Yeah.
I would say that he's kind of getting into a 4-color not green territory, so the dual land's appealing, but he's going to go with the counterspell instead.
Spectral Denial. The counterspells have been overperforming in this set as far as I can tell so far this weekend. Oh, we've got a Kishla Trawlers here. This is a good card. Nice pickup that can put something back into your hand. Gets back instant or sorceries from your graveyard. So some nice card value there. Here we go, continuing our picks here in pack number 1. What do we have left? Well, there's a Snowmelt Stag. That's blue. Teamer Tawnyback is the best card in the pack. And that's what we're going with. All right.
Remember, Corey's still a pretty light commitment, if committed at all, to black at this point. So Teamer is still a pivot.
Sure. Okay, so that's possible.
Yep. Corey is just kind of, again, just kind of taking the best card out of the pack. So if he opens something very strong, happens to get past something very strong, he's not in a position where he has to pass it this early.
Teamer Devotee, the pickup here, one of those filter devotees that are so crucial in the set. Really, really nice at helping you get your mana in order. Shock Brigade is going to be the pickup here. 1/3 Menace, Mobilize 1.
Noteworthy here that Corey has not only not selected, but really has not seen any mana fixing. We're basically looking at just some of the common enters the battlefield tap lands so far. It's possible that the person to his right is in a 4 or 5 color deck themselves, and it's there's a chance here that Corey's going to put a huge premium on picking up mana fixing in pack number 2, because pack number 3 might be quite dry.
Here we are rounding out pack number 1. Humbling Elder is the pickup here. Not exciting. I mean, there's only 3 cards left in the pack, but we'll take it.
At this stage, if you're looking to get to 23 playables, 17 lands, you're targeting about 8 to 9 cards out of each pack, and there's 14 in the pack. Once you get this deep, you're looking for cards basically that could have purpose in your sideboard.
Sure. That's a great point. Rigging Strike Mastery, a couple of Heritage Reclamations there to round out pack number 1. Keep in mind, he can't look at these picks as he makes them like we can on Arena or Magic Online, so now we get to review. If you're Corey, how are you feeling about the way this is looking so far?
I think he's got a handful of strong cards and a lot of directions the draft can take him. I think that he's going to want to kind of try to settle into something 3 colors soon, unless he opens some very good mana fixing, because he hasn't really seen anything thus far. And there's reason to believe that the person on his right is putting a premium on that as well. I would assume that Corey is going to kind of cement into Teamer here pretty fast, unless he either opens a bomb or a handful of strong mana fixing that keeps his black cards live.
Yeah, taking a look here, he certainly could pivot into Teamer in pack number 2. He set himself up for that. Once again, like you mentioned, mana fixing going to be a priority because we have absolutely none of that other than the 2 devotees that we've picked up, and there's no guarantee either of them will make his deck. So we're going to be looking also potentially for some kind of bomb because we don't really have one yet.
I think if Corey doesn't open something or get past something early on in this pack that defines how he's going to approach the rest of the draft, he's going to settle into Teamer.
Yeah.
It looks like that wedge was open based on pack number 1, and he really only has the Avenger of the Fallen as something that could push him off that at this point.
All right, here we go. We are laying out our cards here for pack number 2. All of these cards pre-sorted and stamped. It's always cool to get a stamped card to add to your collection. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, I love that Iridescent Tiger. I've triple spelled off that bad boy before. There's another copy of the Kishla Trawlers. Which way are we looking here? He's pulled that to the front. It looks like he's mostly interested in the Kishla Trawlers getting back instant sorceries from the graveyard.
There's also just kind of an absence of...
Yeah, there's nothing like huge going on here for him. That's a Piercing Exile behind that, which is a fine green removal spell. It's going to be the Trawlers number 2. Still staying the course, another blue card.
I mean, at a certain point, you just end up, as long as you continue doing this, you just end up teamer anyway.
Yeah.
In that you have nothing but green, blue, and red cards.
Okay, what do we have here?
I think we got a hit.
Oh, we did. We got a hit. Okay, there's a Karakit Guardian. That is one of the best uncommons in the set. Sitting behind that Shock Brigade for him right now. Very curious what he's going to do as he hasn't shifted it to the front. Oh, interesting. Wow.
Okay.
He's going to take a second Shock Brigade. He is not interested in making the move to teamer just yet. All right, another one of these 1/3 menace creatures. Mobilize one. All right, here we go. Pick number 3, pack number 2. This, I think, will be very telling as well as to what he picks up here. Rescue Leopard currently at the front of the pack.
It's possible Corey is thinking about just being 2 colors.
Yeah, he could just be red, blue beats.
Yep. I mean, certainly the 2 trawlers take you down a certain path as far as being able to do some of the, 2 spells in 1 turn, prowess kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, sure enough, here it is. The Rescue Leopard, this 4/2 rummaging cat, a very aggressively statted creature that I quite like.
Also very synergistic with the harmonized spells.
Yes, good point. Wow, so interesting how these players approach drafts so differently. It's fascinating to see here on release weekend of the set.
I mean, this could also be a function of Corey not finding any mana fixing. Playing 3 colors without dual lands or tri-lands or orbs or anything like that is really rough.
Riverwalk Technique. Now, that would be a good card to get back. There's a Monastery Messenger as well in here that we're perfectly happy to pay 4 for. Oh, okay. Wild Ride is going to be the pickup here. Now, that is extremely aggressive. That is +3/+0 with a harmonized cost. Also good to dump into your graveyard and get back.
Back in 3 color, in all basic lands. Back during my competitive days, my play circle referred to it as the devil's mana.
Yep.
A little.
Yes, it is. Yep. Oh, man, that's rough.
Not a place you want to be.
No, indeed. That's Ureni's rebuff here that we've got. I really have been impressed by this card as well. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Harmony's cost of 6.
And I think it's an underappreciated thing how powerful it is to have an unsummoned in your graveyard that you don't have to use.
Yep.
The amount that your opponent is constrained to play around it, where you never have to commit.
3rd Kishla Trawlers. Are we doing it? Whatever this is, are we doing it?
I mean, it would be kind of nice to have a few more spells that don't have Harmonize, just to have a little bit of a smoother recursion thing. But the Trawlers are so good that it kind of doesn't matter.
There's a bird's eye view of our pod here. Kishla Trawlers was the pickup indeed. Trawlers number 3 for Burkhart here. Let's get some spells to get back with this. Twin Bolt could be a consideration here.
That's a very nice one with the Trawlers. It's cheap. You kind of want to be recurring cheaper stuff. You can even, when the game goes on a certain length, you can set up, multiple casts in the same turn.
Yeah.
I don't think Corey's a little light on removal also.
Yeah, if you can cast that twice, that's pretty excellent here because you can divide up this damage as you choose.
And if you're playing in a really aggressive strategy, you kind of want to put a premium on the cheap stuff that clears out cheap stuff. You're often fast enough that you can kind of overpower the big stuff that you typically want removal for. It's the smaller stuff early on that can actually be more problematic for the type of deck that Corey's drafting.
Unending Whisper is the card that he's going to pick up here. Another Harmonized spell. It's a nice one. Best at home in Jeskai, where you can use it to trigger your flurry, draw a card, harmonize for 6. Another draw spell here in this pack. Focus the mind, but we're going to take this 3/3, makes a treasure. It has prowess.
I think the big thing for Corey is, that he's got a lot of setup, a little short on meat and potatoes. This is a card I bet Corey is hoping not to play.
Yeah.
But he is a little short on just normal creatures for attacking and blocking purposes.
Could get another Meticulous Artisan here. Wingspan Stride, a consideration here for Burkhart. That's what he's going to take. This sends your creature up into the air, and you can put it back in your hand for 3.
Another thing to keep in mind about the trawlers, as good as they are, they do require you to exile a creature out of your graveyard. So it's not like you can just show up with
That's true.
15 spells in your deck and have that card work. He does need to get a critical mass of just regular creatures to facilitate that.
Emberheart statue there, or excuse me, Embermouth Sentinel. I was so close. Oh, another Monastery Messenger.
So in Corey's deck, this is looking to be a 4-mana play rather, unless he finds his Jeskai Devotee. Might want to play it at 4. It's a little clunky, but it's in range of being maybe a last playable.
Sure. All right, are we taking a Whisper? Yes, we are. That's Whisper number 2. And last card, Tempest Hawk. Ah!
Probably too late to pivot to the Tempest Hawk strategy.
I think it's always too late to pivot to the Tempest Hawk strategy.
I like to mess around. It's like it's one of those things where it's like each one that I add to my deck, is my deck getting better or worse?
It's a good question.
It's like
I don't know.
I like to find out.
Wow, I am so obsessed with this deck that Corey Burkhart is putting together here. I just can't wait to talk to him about it. We are solidly 2 colors here, red, white, and we are beating down. We are recurring spells from the graveyard and casting them again.
And I think Corey he's pretty set in terms of spells. Maybe another removal spell or 2 for recursion purposes would be nice. I think he needs to put a premium on creatures at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
All this setup doesn't really work unless you're coming out of the gates aggressively. He doesn't have much power on the top end of his deck, so there is a burden on him to be pretty aggressive here. And so the best removal spells, I think, especially if they are instants or sorceries and therefore eligible to be recurred, that's one thing. But I think kind of this, wild ride kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to just need to get some more cheap, ideally prowess or flurry creatures to make this all come together.
Yeah, absolutely. That Flaming Effigy we passed in pack number 1. We want some of those.
The good news is that Corey is probably in the market for cards other drafters aren't.
Correct.
And so there's a chance here that pack 3 could be really juicy because he's honed in on a very particular strategy that's looking for specific things that aren't necessarily the purview of drafters who are just looking for random rate cards for their 3 and 4 color decks.
This is so fascinating to watch, too, because like we said, the set released a couple of days ago. Like, you could play it on Arena earlier than the pre-release, of course, but we just don't know how all of these players have prepared for this tournament. Like, they haven't all been talking. There hasn't been a pro tour. This is so fresh and so new that the approaches these players have to draft might be drastically different this early in the format.
Yeah, if you're playing online, you really don't know the quality of your competition, and if you're drafting in person, there's only so much you can do before the event. So in any event, even players as skilled as Corey are still going to be learning as they go a little bit. There are probably, after this draft is over, I'm sure there are probably a pick or 2 that Corey wishes maybe he had done differently. Or maybe if you asked him a week from now, he would feel differently about it.
Sure. Always reading Smile at Death right now. Yeah, that's a pretty powerful card. It is white, though. So what do we have? Veteran Ice Climber there in blue. Shocking Sharpshooter. That pings when your creatures enter the battlefield.
Shocking Sharpshooter might be nice for Corey here. 1, I think he's pretty happy with a 3-mana 3/3. And 2, remember he has that Twin Bolt.
Yes.
Which can set up some nice turns against the bigger stuff. And Corey's removal here is not really equipped for large creatures. It's more it's smaller stuff.
All right, we're going to take the Veteran Ice Climber here. This is a creature with evasion. It can't be blocked. It has vigilance. And you can mill yourself here, target player, and you get your harmonized cards into your graveyard.
Yeah, and sometimes you can go punt mode and actually get your opponent, but I think Corey probably has ambitions of flipping over some harmonized cards for free.
Oh, yeah. There's another wild ride there. How aggressive are we going to be? Storm Shriek Feral, a dragon in this set. Here we've got a Jeskai card that pumps itself up. Effortless Master if you've cast a second spell that turn. That would be a nice addition to his deck, I would think.
He's got the architecture to make this thing sing.
Yes. Looks like that's what he's interested here. Effortless Master added to the stack. That's a 4/3 Vig Menace, and it comes in with 2+1/+1 counters if you cast 2 or more spells this turn, which his deck is really uniquely set up to do very, very well.
Mm-hmm. And this sort of fills two roles here. One, it's a high synergy card with what he's got going on here. And second, it's just a meat and potatoes body that can attack and block. And he could use a little bit more of that.
Oof, another Carrot Kick Guardian.
Well, we've already decided we're not doing we're not doing that.
We're not doing it. We're not doing it. All right, we've got a Rune Scale Stormbrood, which is the alt art card there at the front of the pack. That's the 2/4. It's in his colors. You can pump it up if you play another dragon or you've played instant or sorcery. So I've got by that card a number of times.
It's a nice one. I mean, Corey's really light on the dragon stuff, but certainly not short on spells, and this might also be a way to backdoor some Behold stuff, which right now he can't really enable.
Nice little counter spell tacked on there as well, should he need it. There's a Flaming Effigy. The Orb! We are the furthest thing from an Orb deck that I've ever seen.
2 colors, 1 dragon. Yeah, I don't think that's where we're at right now.
All right, what are we taking here? There it is. There it is. Take the Haster. Let's go. Yeah, Flaming Effigy. There we are. It's a 2/2. You have to turn it back to your hand at the end of your at your end step, and you can fire breathe it for 2 in a red.
I have constructed aspirations around this
Oh,
card.
do you now?
Yeah. It's a lot of things that I'm into. Haste, things that dump mana, avoiding sorcery speed removal. Probably not good enough, but I'm going to find out.
Dispelling Exile, the pickup here for Corey. Nice counter spell. What format you want to play that card in?
I mean,
all.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm interested in a lot of different ways.
It's on the radar.
Yeah.
Dispelling Exile feels like a card that yesterday in Sealed was just it was just so good.
I mean it's a strong card. I'm a little concerned about it from Corey's side insofar as he does need to just
something needs to be there.
Generally needs to get more creatures, and his deck is going to be tapping out a lot on his own turn. It's very, kind of sorcery and creature heavy. So, and he's very low on dragons. It's possible that one doesn't make the cut, even as strong as it was in Sealed yesterday.
Devoted Duelist, the pickup here, 2/1 haste. It has Flurry, which is nice. Get some of these in multiples into a strong Jeskai deck. They can be kind of scary. Deals 1 damage to each opponent when Flurry triggers.
And this is also the type of card where it can kind of compensate for your lack of removal.
Sure.
A way to win the game, even if you can't get through the biggest thing, is nice for this style of deck.
We have a Bewildering Blizzard in this pack. Is that too expensive for him, or is it just powerful enough that we're going to do it?
It's got to kind of depend on the competition here. Corey might be planning on playing 16 lands. I think his deck can accommodate that.
He's going to take this Kishla Skimmer out of this pack, which is a blue-green bird. Interesting. It does let you draw when you get stuff out of your graveyard.
I mean, I guess it's possible he would consider splashing if late cards came this way. He also might just say, that's the best card of the pack, and I'm not going to play anything in here.
Sure.
So,
another Wild Ride.
Ooh. The Village? A little rare drafting?
We're going on a Wild Ride, man. Play one way. Smash, get it back, smash again. Okay, we are rounding out pack number 3. See if he wants to remove something out of here from somebody else or just take something. All right, this card has it's a modal spell, gives you a couple of options. You can use it for some card selection or pump up your creatures.
And a drafter as skilled as Corey has a mental count of how many playables do I have.
Oh, let's get wild. Let's get wild. Oh, dang, we're not getting wild. We're not getting that wild.
No.
We're taking the duel.
Yeah, just take the wind out of someone else's sails. Not like Corey's planning on splashing at this point.
No, nothing in this pack for him here. We'll just take a Sultai Devotee and move right along. 3 cards left in the pack. Well, they're all his colors here.
Ooh.
There's an Artisan there pick up for him.
Is that a playable?
I mean, let's check. I think it is.
I mean, it might end up in the deck.
He has already got one.
I bet Corey is hoping it doesn't, but aware that it might.
Yeah. I love that. That's how I approach life sometimes. Yeah.
I'm not too proud. Like, it just, I know which way it might go.
There's a look at his picks from pack number 3. Corey Burkhart's draft deck, red, blue beatdowns and recursion. What do you give it? Give it a rating here. I mean, we're so new in the format; it's real tough. But I got to ask you the tough questions.